All right, Kyle. So as one Denver or even Colorado team's season essentially comes to an end with the Denver Broncos losing, how do we get that? How do we pull those fans that are just kind of really upset with the Broncos because they have not done well in several years? How do we pull them in? Like, what can we offer them to the Colorado fan base? Say, like, come watch the Avs. What can we offer them?
We win games.
Oh, it's just that simple. I like. I was thinking punch and pie, maybe, but you went for the jugular. Anyway, welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast, everybody. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, Chris Maselli. With me, as always, is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. As I peel, I don't know, some Christmas present that my kids got off of my desk, some sort of putty or something. I don't know.
Ectoplasm.
Yeah, they got jars and jars of that crap. So thank you for making this your first listen of the day. That is always appreciated. And before we get into the Avalanche 4-2 victory after 10 years off, we want to let you know, follow the show on social media. That's LOPN_Avalanche on Twitter, Locked On Avalanche on Instagram. Send questions, comments, concerns, opinions to lockedonavalanche@gmail.com, and follow the show on our YouTube channel. There we are, over on YouTube. Just search Locked On Avalanche. All right, Kyle, the Avalanche finally back. And first of all, were you like me in that I was not believing we were going to watch Avalanche hockey until that puck was officially dropped? Even this morning, I was posting the game day graphic, and I'm like, man, like I'm not the only one that does that, but I'm like, am I jinxing this? It was just something was going to go wrong with the Avalanche. We're going to play a game today.
Yeah, I remember messaging you yesterday, and we were talking about Nuke being out, and we were like, "Do you think this game's going to happen?" And I was like, "Let's wait until the morning." I was like, "Then I'll know." I just have a feeling. I feel like we're all conditioned. Like, we get ready, and that elusive like injury report comes out in the morning, or somebody tests positive in that Nashville game that went to hell in a handbasket before the game even started. So you don't know what to expect anymore.
And we did, like, it was Nichushkin was not going to be playing. I don't think it was COVID related. I think it was a upper body injury, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. I mean, again, you know, we had talked about if nothing else, this break will make the Avalanche 100% healthy. Fools to think that, because Nichushkin, in what clearly was an injury, practice related, because obviously the Avalanche haven't played, so a practice related injury. And is it just not going to happen where the Avalanche are going to have a 100% healthy team at any point during the season? Can we just call that now? And then if it happens, we're excited.
We came back from the break in mid-season form. That's exactly what we wanted. Already got people on the injured list.
I know, right? So, and in the end, the Avs did play. And but while Nichushkin may have been out, they did bring back Gabe Landeskog. Mm-hmm. He came back. They were able to bring back Bowen Byram. And I have my fingers crossed every single time that young man steps out on the ice. But he's a professional athlete. If he's going to play, he's going to play. So, you know, you take the training wheels off, and guys are going to hit you. So you got to be ready 100%. It seems like he played a full game. What did he have for time on ice? 1835.
Yeah.
So they weren't holding him back. But overall, Avalanche, a 4-2 win over the Anaheim Ducks. And it kind of went the way that I thought it was going to go. Everybody expected the Avs to come out a little bit rusty. They absolutely were, but it wasn't horrible.
No.
I thought they were able to hang. I mean, yeah, they went down. They gave up a goal. What are you going to do about that goal? But at the end of the first, I wasn't like, oh man, this is going to be a horrible game. I felt like they just needed to get that first out of the way, and it will get progressively better. And that's exactly what happened.
It was one of those that right out of the gate, you could kind of feel the Avalanche had it in them. Like the mojo was never gone. And it was just badly timed passes, like some giveaways, some like good shots that just didn't go in. I mean, it's John Gibson, for goodness sake. Like he's incredible. And he's another one of those players that everybody takes kind of for granted. And he plays for Anaheim, so you don't think a lot about him. But John Gibson is an incredible goalie.
Yeah.
So I mean, he robbed us a couple times, but you never felt out of it. Even down to nothing, I never felt out of it. And those once everybody started getting clicking back together, like that second and third period, everything started rolling from there.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, like I said, in the first, it wasn't all horrible. I thought the first line looked very good. From the beginning, they looked really good. Nathan MacKinnon still doing his assist party.
Yeah.
3 assists for Mac on the day. And again, he is playing a more controlled style game, but he is still. I read one comment on Twitter. I don't remember who posted it, and they said, "Man, I really miss the Nathan MacKinnon that used to just." I can't remember how they worded it. I'm paraphrasing, but it was more or less like, "I really miss the Nathan MacKinnon that would just make charge at the net and no holds barred, like you knew he was going to do it." And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm fine because how the amount of times he actually made it through and got to the net were far less than the times that the play got broken up and there was nobody to help on the backside. Like, and I think he's realized that. We've talked about that many times in the past, but he did it again today. But he seemed like a step quicker today. Like and not to say that he's been slow, but this new Nathan MacKinnon that we're talking about, how he's like really looking for other people. It seemed like he was. There was a number of times where he was kind of like flying through the zone, and the second he was like, "All right, they have more numbers than just me. Let me look around," and it worked to perfection. I'm loving this Nathan MacKinnon, man.
And he's adding this extra step. Like you've been watching it all year. If you watch this new Nathan MacKinnon, he's adding new layers to it. And against the Ducks in this game, his hands were a vital part of what he's doing. Like when he's going on this assist craze that he's on, he's feeding it real quick, like bringing the traffic to him and then passing it. He's using his hands to get around the defender that is in his way. And there was one play that he deked about 6 or 7 times before making a pass. Yeah. So he's leveling up this new, like this is not the new Nathan MacKinnon. There's more to be had here. And I think he's gearing up for a playoff run with this. And his hands looked incredible in this game. And when I saw this little wrinkle, I was like, I think we've got a lot more in store. So all those people wanting the score happy Nathan MacKinnon, just wait a little bit.
I mean, I still feel like that's going to come around, but it's not like the Avalanche are scrapping for him to become a scorer because he's facilitating and they're winning games the way he's playing this way. So he's just like, the scoring will come for me, but I have all these other scorers on my team, and why not facilitate them? The first one was just Landeskog was right place, right time, and on the power play, he ripped one, a nice slap shot from his spot on the power play, and it went right to Landeskog, always in the spot that he's in. But the one to O'Connor, it's just what you want your star to do. You would think on a play like that, normal Nathan MacKinnon would fire a shot on net.
Yeah.
But he had the vision and he saw O'Connor and that was a beautiful pass and an even better shot by Logan O'Connor to roof that thing.
And it was that Logan O'Connor assist that really made me realize I feel like Nathan MacKinnon's like shift his mentality to where he makes his mistakes by doing too much. I feel like he's flipped his mentality to make the defenders make the mistake and let them bite. And if they're coming at him, he'll feed. But if they're playing back his pass, like they know this is his new thing, if they're playing back, that's when he starts taking shots.
Yeah.
And I feel like instead of making the mistake, which he did when he came back from the injury, and he felt sluggish and like he was running into traffic, if you watch, he's flipped the game and he's letting everybody else make the mistakes, and it's not on him.
Love it. All right. Well, let's hear from Built Bar, and then we'll continue this discussion on some stats and some other guys who played well and kind of look at everything as a big pitcher. But we have Built Bar. It's the new year. Oh yeah, Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New
I think
Year.
we're going to say Happy New Year every single day.
Forever.
Yes. If you didn't listen to our last episode as to why, just go listen to that. But it is the new year. So that means New Year's resolutions. And it's, well, by the time you're listening to this, January 3rd. So I hope your New Year's resolution isn't canceled by now. But if you're about getting fit or eating healthier, if that was part of your New Year's resolution, include Built Bar in that plan. Built Bar is the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, maybe even better than a candy bar. Built Bar makes it easy to stick to your resolution because it tastes so good that you will want to eat them. Unlike other protein bars, which can be chalky, waxy, or taste like, you know it, a chemical spill. So you want to eat healthy, but it just gets so boring by like week 3 or even day 3. You might be thinking, is this even worth it? Where's the chocolate? Well, Built Bar's got you covered because their bars are covered in 100% chocolate. So go to builtbar.com right now or built.com. Use the promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off of your order. Once again, that promo code is LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com or builtbar.com. All right, so getting into some other players who did well, just the game in general. Any I guess I just want to throw it to you if there's anything that stood out for you, player-wise, game-wise. Carte blanche, my friend. Go for it.
I will say, speaking to the Ducks side, Troy Terry surprised me tonight. He is a menace. He was very menacing tonight. I'm curious what this game would look like if Zegras was involved.
Mm-hmm.
Like Milano was involved, but I would like to see what that combo with Zegras would have looked like. When it comes to the Avalanche, we were talking about Bowen Byram earlier. He was in some plays. He was looking all right out there when there was that little scrum in the second period behind the net. He was involved. I kind of got tense. Didn't know how that was going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing everybody handle everything pretty okay. Like, there wasn't any stupid penalties or things you would scratch your head at. Like, it felt like a machine tonight. Like, the Avalanche beginning to end, it was a good flow all game long.
Yeah, I'm looking at the penalties. Comfer with the trip, which should not have been called because it was on Drysdale, who just stepped on the blade of a stick, and that's not tripping. So they got that wrong. Gerard had to delay the game. Okay. Abe Kubel, the roughing, but that was matching roughing after that scrum, and that was it. So yeah, nothing like too dumb or too blatant. The Gerard delay the game. Sometimes it just happens. So yeah, I think they played a smart game, and when you had, like, again, you talk about the stars a lot. Cale Makar, obviously one of them. Devon Taves, he got them going with the scoring. And a lot of people are asking the question, like, do people want to see more of this on him from a consistent basis? Not that he's not consistent. I know when I say consistent basis, I mean year after year, because from, an Avalanche fan standpoint, he's a top 10 defender, in my opinion, this year.
Yeah.
Is he just coming into form, and this is the Devon Taves who will be this type of player for the duration of his time in the league? I mean, I think he is sneaky good, and I think he gets buried under guys, especially guys on his own team like Cale Makar.
And the way he does it, it's just so quiet. There's no selly. There's no, like, he doesn't go out there and he's not, kind of getting aggressive or asserting himself into a play. If he's not in it, he waits. He's patient. He's a veteran. He's done this a while.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to get out there and try and shoot himself hot, or if he's cold, like, have to change it up in the middle of the game. He takes it shift by shift. And I think that quiet demeanor and the way that he controls his game with however it is that night, if it's scoring or if it's passing, if he just does it quietly. And honestly, I think he is one of the better players on our team right now. And he just does it quietly, and nobody pays attention because everybody wants a highlight reel something. But consistency is all you get from Devon Taves.
Do you feel because he's 27 years old, which I mean, you have to keep reminding yourself that I thought he was a couple years younger than that.
Yeah.
Uh, but he's 27, and is it? He's sometimes it takes guys that long to really make a name for themselves. Is it that, or is it he's just playing on a good team, and his skill set can come out when when you're playing on a defensive pairing with Cale Makar. Obviously, you're going to benefit from that. And I'm not saying you can put anybody with Cale Makar and they will shine like Devon Taves is doing. I think his skill is off the charts, and that is showing. It could be everything. It could be, yeah, he's 27, and it took this long for him to really, become what he is. He's playing with Cale Makar. He's playing on a good team. He's playing in a good system, a system that fits his skill set. So, like, it's just almost like the perfect marriage for these two entities between the Avalanche and Taves.
I feel like it's a little bit of both in that scenario. Like being 27, I feel like he's finally on a team that he can flourish. Like he's always been touted as having a incredibly high upside. He's just never been in a place where he can utilize it. Yeah. And he's in a place where it's not like fix our team now. Like right. He's just come in and do your thing. And guess what? He's really good at doing his thing.
Yeah, so definitely. Who else? So Mikko Rantanen, a goal and 2 assists, and I don't want to take him for granted, so we have to mention him because it's just like ho hum. Mikko Rantanen with another 3-point game, and he just continues to do it, and him too. He, you said like how Taves is just he goes about, he does his thing. Mikko's got an edge to him if you poke the bear too much, but if that doesn't happen, he just goes about his game. He's always in a good position. He's he is a big body, so he's tough to move, and it's just it's kind of fun to watch him. But you have to sometimes in a game like this, you have to kind of force yourself to watch him because today, at least last night, yesterday, he wasn't like jumping off the screen.
Yeah,
but that's what he does. He's just a sound player, and we saw him. What was the game where at the end of the game he was going? Was it the Ranger game or it was recently. I think that he ended the game in the penalty box, and when the game was over, these two guys. They went at it.
I think it was the Ranger game.
And, that's what I mean. Like he has that ability. To don't cross him, but he's not going to start that. He's not that type of player. And I just love how he just goes and knows that he has all the ability in the world and can turn it on any time. And before you know it, it's like, holy crap, he had a 3-point game and a goal and 2 assists. Like, okay.
And I think one of the reasons we forget about Mikko when it comes to these plays and how they're set up is because he's usually the first one to touch the puck. He's usually the first one to gain possession. He's the one getting down on the boards. He's aggressive on the forecheck. When we do that dump and chase to get offensive zone transition, he's the first one down there. And he's the one passing it, either resetting it back to the D and cycling it on that blue line, or he's running it right back around the goal, passing it to Landy and setting it up that way. You often forget about him because he's the first person on there, and he's like the 3rd or 4th assist on a goal.
Yeah.
He's the one who sets it up, but he's not really known for finishing because he's the one who does the dirty work and doesn't get the credit for it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, good game for him. 22 and a half minutes on the ice. Guys with, spread around pretty evenly. We always say, Curtis McDermott gets his 5, 6, 7 minutes. He only had 2 minutes and 53 seconds on the ice. Did he get hurt, or was it just like, there's no need for you to be out there to go throw your weight around, so we're just not going to put you out there?
Yeah, I don't even remember seeing him at all.
I saw him early in the game. And I think he kind of was in a position to have a scoring chance if the play kind of went to his side of the ice, which never happened. And then, I mean, you didn't see him because he only played 2 minutes and 53 seconds. Yeah. I just don't know if he was hurt. I don't know if he got hurt or if they were just like, we don't, nothing's happening in this game where we need you to go out there and be an enforcer. So grab some bench.
I mean, it makes sense because Anaheim's always played as physical. Run them out there, get an idea on how it's going to go. The physicality came to play in the late second, early third, but it's not going to show up in that first period, but Anaheim is a very gritty team.
Yeah. All right. Some stats that we got. The Avs outshot Anaheim 36-31. The faceoffs were dead even at 50%, which is kind of good because I think the Avs were down 75% to 25% after the first. Power plays, something the Avs have steadily gotten better at as the season has gone on. 2 for 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Anaheim is a pretty good penalty kill.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not bad. 2 out of 5. And then the Ducks were 1 out of 2. Hits were kind of even, 21-17 in favor of the Ducks. So, I think just overall from top to bottom, the game went the way that I thought it would, with shaking off the rust, but they held firm even though they got down by 2. You felt pretty good because I thought Darcy Kuemper played a very solid game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think from him?
He both goalies were kind of trying to show out for each other. And like, I know I've been singing his praises probably this whole episode, but Gibson, like, he had let up some bad ones. And I mean, that could have easily been Kuemper, but he was right there where he needed to be, handling the rebounds well, not allowing second chances, taking the physical hits. They were being pushed into him. And hey, his equipment stayed together. So
that is a plus. His expected goals against was 2.7, and he only gave up 2. So your save above expected is a plus 0.72. That's kind of what you want to see. So he didn't let in goals that he shouldn't have. Let me see as far as medium, low, and high. Both goals he gave up were categorized as high danger goals.
Yeah.
So he's not letting in the low danger goals for the day. So I thought he was, I really, really like Darcy Kuemper. I like him as a goalie, and I like him even more so as when you see his interviews.
Yeah.
He just seems like a dude that you want to hang out with.
Yeah.
And he's a fun loving guy. That one video that they came out with, like, know your teammates or something like that, which is hysterical if you haven't seen it. And all the interviews, it seems like he always gets put together with JT Compher for some reason, like when they go out. But he's always has, and those two guys are like yin and yang.
Yeah,
Compher is usually always like serious. He doesn't want to be there. He just wants to be either home or on the ice or playing a game. And you see like Darcy Kuemper just like free spirited, loving it, kind of laughing at questions or jokes that are be thrown his way by the media, which nobody does that. They just I like Darcy Kuemper. I think he's playing well. We'll see how the season finishes out. He's an unrestricted. I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the year and who's available and what happens. Right now, I'd like to see him become our long-term goalie.
And I think the team, honestly, they trust him. Like, you could see that. You can see how the defense plays around him. And I think as fans, we're not on pins and needles when shots are being aimed at him. Like, we've been through the ringer when it comes to goalies and who's back there and who we're getting on each individual night. Like, I think we've all established some trust in Darcy. Mm-hmm. I think the next thing up is we got to see what's going on with Pavel Francouz. Like, he needs to see some time.
Get out there. Yeah,
he's got to get out there. We've got to figure out, like, we just gave him that deal not too long ago. Like, he needs to get out there and prove what we're holding on to and what exactly we're waiting on here. Like, we know he's a great guy personally off the ice. He's wonderful. He's a sweetheart, but we got to see what we're waiting on here. Like, we keep sounding the bell every time he's in a backup position or might get the start, but the last time we saw him, it wasn't that great. So what are we waiting on here? And the answer for Darcy Kuemper might lie with what we're doing with Pavel Francouz.
Yeah. We'll see. So we will talk tomorrow about the game on Tuesday, which is against the Chicago Blackhawks. That is in Chicago. And then we were talking before, the game after that is Winnipeg, and that's at home. That's in Denver. And we were wondering, like, what's going on with the whole border thing. And I just checked. So Winnipeg played Vegas Sunday night in Vegas. So I guess.
Did they go home?
The Jets.
Yes.
Um,
Are they hanging out? Do they play around here for a little bit?
then
Because
they go to Arizona, and then they play the Avalanche. So they're in the country for a little while.
yeah, it's we bring this up because of the uncertainty when it comes to American teams going across the border and playing the Canadian teams with the attendance restrictions. The NHL is talking about moving, rescheduling, canceling those games. So when that came up on the
And
schedule, the
yeah,
conversation came up on how those teams are being handled being stateside.
and Calgary came to Chicago and played Chicago on Sunday as well.
Hmm.
So the Canadian teams are coming here to play. I didn't keep up on with it on the weekend to see like what are those rules like? Can United States teams go into Canada? I'm seeing if that happened at all. Let me see if yesterday it happened. Nope, because Ottawa and Maple Leafs played.
With
Vancouver went to Seattle.
Yeah, and Toronto and Ottawa had nobody in attendance.
Nobody in
So
attendance. On December 31st, nobody in. Penguins going to Ottawa was canceled, and then Winnipeg Calgary was canceled. That was December 31st though. So I don't know. I don't know how it works. It clearly Canadian
yeah.
teams are coming here to play. I don't know how it's working if the United States teams are being allowed to go into Canada yet. I don't know. So, but as far as the Winnipeg game, that should be on because they're not going back to Canada and
Hmm.
then coming back again. They played Chicago. They're going to play Arizona, and then they're playing us. So it seems like we're gonna get all these games in this week, as long as nothing else catastrophic happens.
And you really want things to kind of stay intact as long as they can right now, because if we can keep this train rolling, like look at this on its face. Like we came back from a 2-goal deficit and won commandingly 4-2. And now we're about to play Chicago, which is a good division statement game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to keep this rolling. We haven't played Winnipeg yet, and
Right.
they are a Jekyll and Hyde team. They can either break your heart or you can run up the score. So this is a perfect chance for the Avalanche to come back from this break and possibly rattle off 3 wins in a row
I
easily.
mean, and if you're looking at the standings, Avalanche technically they're sitting in fourth right now based on points, but St. Louis is in first with 43. Avalanche have 43 for St. Louis, 38 for the Avalanche. 5 games in hand for the Avs
Mm-hmm.
over St. Louis. 3 games in hand against the Predators. 3 games in hand against the Wild. So they're in a very very good spot right now, and yeah, the way that they're playing, you have to feel good.
Because we're now at this point in the season where you have to look at the Avalanche, and it's not so much like your placement right now. You got to look at the Avalanche as the team that hits the ice, and like if you watch that Winter Classic game, those are 2 teams that you're going to have to be contending with in the playoffs at some point.
Right.
Is this Avalanche team good enough to handle a 7-game series against St. Louis or Minnesota right now? Because that's who you're looking up at. And with our last performance against Nashville, another team that we might be in the mix with, could we handle a playoff series? Because that's what you have to start thinking about.
Mm.
Because the deadline's coming up in just a little while, and like this is where you start tinkering and figuring out what the team needs. That's what you want to look at. And this little stretch of games that we're about to run into is a fantastic opportunity on where we stand against the top teams in the league currently.
Yeah, because you got like I said, Chicago, and then Winnipeg. Okay, and then the Maple Leafs. So 2 games in a row right in the division.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the ones that you definitely want to win. So I don't know. Overall, I was happy.
Yeah.
Happy just that you're watching Avalanche hockey again after more than 2 weeks, and that they won the game. That they got progressively better as the game went on. Again, Logan O'Connor with an opportunity, shorthanded. I no longer get nervous when the Avs go down a man because it's like
Yeah.
I look forward to the opportunity that Logan O'Connor might have.
Yeah.
He's exciting to watch, man.
Yeah. He's
He's a
becoming one of
diamond
my
in the rough.
favorite players to watch.
Absolutely. I thought he had an assist too. No, so just the 1 goal for him. But
And speaking of favorite
Yeah.
players to watch. Nazem Kadri still continuing his quiet little point totals.
Yeah, another
So-
assist for him. So, I mean, the only ones, Abu Kubel, Jost, and Newhook didn't score. But I thought Jost played well. I thought Jost played a hustling type of game. Nothing to show for an stat sheet, but I was happy with him.
And Nui started out great and then kind of disappeared in the second and third.
He did. He definitely did. So maybe, as a team, they wore the rust off a little bit, but individually, maybe these guys needed a game. A guy like him might need just a full game to get under his belt, and then he can get going again.
So. Exactly.
All right. That's going to wrap it up for today, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and making it your first listen of the day. That is always appreciated. Check out Locked On NHL for the second listen of your day. Get caught up on all these games that are happening because the NHL is back in action. All right. That's going to wrap it up for today. We will be back tomorrow. Anything else going on in Avalanche land, we'll be talking about it and definitely be talking about the game the following day against Chicago. Big divisional game. So, all right, that'll wrap it up. He is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. We'll see you guys tomorrow.